And good morning. It's 7:04 on this Tuesday, December 13th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello, everybody. Our program each Tuesday presented by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. And we want to talk a little bit about the hospital, of course, this morning. One of the things that you should know, and that is that the Accredited Stroke Center meets strict national standards that support better outcomes for stroke care, treatment, rehabilitation, and recovery. The primary stroke center at Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. And with that, we want to tell you some common facts regarding stroke, early intervention and signs and symptoms of a stroke. And the thing to do is to remember FAST, F-A-S-T. Know the warning signs of a stroke. And F stands for face. Ask the person to smile. Does one side of the face droop? The A stands for arms. Ask a person to raise both arms. Does one arm shift downward? The S is for speech. Ask the person to repeat a simple phrase. Is the speech slurred or strange? And T is for time. If you observe any of these signs, call 911 immediately. So, remember, FAST, face, ask a person to smile. Does one side of the face droop? A for arms, ask a person to raise both arms. Does one arm shift downward? S for speech, ask the person to repeat a simple phrase. Is the speech slurred or strange? And T for time, if you observe any of these signs, call 911 immediately. Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital Inpatient Rehab Service is on the McFarland campus at 500 Park Avenue here in Lebanon. So there are a lot of reasons to choose Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital, and I think we've just shared one of them with you right here this morning. Well, I want to go to the telephone and see if Justin Beasley, the Public Information Officer for the City of Mount Juliet's on the line. Justin, are you there?
Yes, sir. Good morning. How's it going, Coleman?
Good morning. It's going just fine. I didn't cover my windshield last night. There was a little skiff of frost on there this morning, but it wasn't hard to scrape off. And so I'm here on time and glad to be talking to you. And I'll bet you've got a lot of interesting and informative information from the city of Mount Juliet.
Yes, sir. We certainly hope so. First off, I just want to wish you a Merry Christmas, and I hate that I can't make it there this morning. I've actually got a couple of obligations at Morning Rotary in Mount Juliet this morning, so I figured I'd call and then try to get to that and do a little bit of both. But I actually, knowing that I had that obligation, I had the mayor scheduled to come visit you this morning. But if you saw any of the parade, he's been under the weather since Saturday morning.
Oh.
So I told him, let me take that off your plate. Let me cover this with Coleman on Tuesday. So you're stuck with me, Coleman. Prayers to the mayor that he gets to feeling better. He might get back out and at him a little bit later today. But I said, hey, you don't need to be worried about this early morning radio hit. But hey, Coleman, listen, I'm gonna try to get him on in the next couple of months or couple of weeks. So I won't let that opportunity pass if it's in my control. Okay.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear that. James Manus, I'd seen him, over the years. I don't know him as well as I know the other mayors here, but would like to get to know him even better. And if you can send him up here before long, that'll be great. Would love to see him.
Yes, sir. So basically, not to bury the lead in Mount Juliet, we've had some huge events the last couple of days. Yesterday, we celebrated our 50th birthday. We got a visit from Wilson County Mayor Randall Hutto on his birthday. Want to wish him a happy birthday as of yesterday. And, we had s'mores. Our planning director, Jennifer Hamlin, one of her events she had this year for her planning commission was 50 s'more years. So we had s'mores, we had cake, and we had a bunch of exhibits kind of telling the history of the city of Mount Juliet that Rob Bealey put up around City Hall. And we had a packed crowd, fantastic day to celebrate 50 years of incorporation since 1972 within the city of Mount Juliet. As you know, we have the big celebration in July. So it's really been a big, long, year-long celebration. And We can't wait for 50 more years ahead of us. It's been 50 great years with the city, no doubt. I've been a part of, I'd say, 2 of those. But I think a lot of people would say our best years are still ahead of us, which is a good thing to say. Also, Friday, we had a Christmas tree lighting, kind of our town hallmark kind of moment. You know, we had the candle lit. We had Shiloh Baptist leading us at the clock tower at the RTA surface right over there across from the Mount Juliet Chamber of Commerce, and lit the tree, and everything worked out well. Had a great crowd. And then Saturday, we had our Golden Christmas Parade. It was obviously 50 years is the theme this year. We had some past mayors that were able to make it out, and we just had what Rocky Lee said was the best crowd we've ever had. Commissioner Ray Justice said it was one of the best parades he's ever been to, if not the best parade he's ever been to. So a lot to talk about in Mount Juliet, a lot of festive celebration at the end of the year, which you'd like to see for the town that's so involved like we have in Mount Juliet here in Wilson County.
Well, I have got to know most of the mayors in the last, I guess, 25 years or so, 29 years we've been doing this program. You mentioned David Wainick. I remember Mayor David Wainick. I think he was mayor, part of the time when he was mayor, Don Fox was the mayor of Lebanon, and the two of them used to have some good-natured fun, maybe some battles at times. How is he doing?
Yeah. He's doing good. I got to meet him for the first time this weekend. We actually shuttled them from the RTA parking lot to the Mount Juliet League Park where it started. So when the parade ended, they could just get right back in the car and head on. But, you know, we had a great crowd of former mayors. I remember David Wainick was there with his wife, Becky. We had Kevin Mack there as well, Linda Elam, and NC Hibbett's family was represented there as well. They were on the float. Everybody stayed safe and was comfortable, had tons of candy to throw out. James Manis wasn't there, obviously as our mayor, but glad that he wasn't just the only Grand Marshal. We would have been without one. We had the past mayors there to represent, and we had a fantastic time. A lot of things to celebrate in the city of Mount Juliet over the last 50 years, and I'm glad we were able to do that where so many people that are still with us could make it onto that float and be recognized for their service.
Well, Justin, I can remember what it was like 50 years ago in Mount Juliet, and there's just almost no comparison to what it was then to what it is now. I mean, it was just, you might say, in a way, a big hole in the road. Well, it was more than that, but even before, even longer than 50 years ago. I mean, Mount Juliet wasn't nearly as large as Watertown back then, and how it has grown, and what these 50 years, what accomplishment has been made there as far as growth and population and roads and the changing, everything is so different in 50 years.
Yeah. We've got a little more than 40,000 people, which is the most in Wilson County, and it has just grown over the last 10 years. And, you know, I was looking at some of the exhibits last night, again, that I said Rob Ely put up, because that was part of our historic pavilion that we had for our 50th anniversary, where everybody could come in and see the history that told the story of the city of Mount Juliet. We put those exhibits up in City Hall last night, and our fire chief, Jamie Luffman, was like, man, I remember when, you know, Highway 70, Lebanon Road was just a gravel road. And I remember when North Mount Juliet Road, you could barely get 2 cars on the road. And I'm just looking at him in awe, because I'm like, you know, now we've got a lot of traffic, and we got a lot of people here, and we're still expanding. And I just can't imagine that was Mount Juliet. When you say that nobody anticipated it growing like this, I mean nobody. I don't think anybody beyond the stretch of their imagination would have ever thought Mount Juliet was what it is today. But we're certainly thankful that it is. We've got a lot of great businesses, a lot of great schools, a lot of people that are moving around the country from California, New York, you name it, that are choosing Mount Juliet. So, you know, when we get complaints every now and then, and it's normal with city government of this needs to be fixed, that needs to be fixed, you can tell that your city is well put together when so many people are choosing you over their former home, and we're thankful for that.
I remember another mayor who hasn't been mentioned much, but I think you did mention Linda Elam, and she was a mayor for a while and then a member of the legislature. Was she present?
Yes, she was. She was. I was actually able to shuttle her over on the last trip over, and she was fantastic to get to know. And she said, if you ever want to know any history, just let me know. So I have to schedule a lunch or two with her or have her over to City Hall because as a public information officer, I need to know a lot of that, a lot of the backstories and a lot of the history to connect the dots. And it sounds like she has it and she's willing to tell it. So I probably need to jump at that opportunity.
She might even could tell you some Luther Lennon stories. Have you heard his name mentioned?
I have, but I don't know a ton about him. Maybe she knows some Coleman Walker stories too.
Justin, it's about time for us to take a break here, so let's do that. Justin Beasley is the Mount Juliet Public Information Officer, and he's with us here a couple of times each month to let us keep up with what's happening in the city of Mount Juliet. Celebrating 50 years is our big subject so far this morning, but we'll talk more after we go to this break here on Coleman and Company FM 98.9.
And at 7:14, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Bates Ford, and get a battery installed on most vehicles, $134.95. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. They were cleaning up debris a few minutes ago on 65 southbound near OHB in Madison. You're able to get down through there. Heavy traffic developing now, leaving Rutherford County on 24 westbound and through the Hickory Hollow area. Radar already spotted in Mount Juliet area and Wilson County on I-40. All the traffic headed towards Nashville. Hey, Princess Hot Chicken is catering during this holiday season. Check out that awesome menu. PrincessHotChicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing.
And now, a moment of silence to remember our dear friend.
Sorry. Oh, man. Life can be uncomfortable. Your home doesn't have to be. With a wide range of air conditioners, furnaces, and heat pumps, Rheem makes it easy to feel comfortable, even when you can't be comfortable.
Financing available through TVA's Energy Right program and your local power company. Call Randy's Heat and Air 237-3604.
This week marks the longest road trip the Titans have all season at SoFi Stadium Sunday. Your Titans take on the Los Angeles Chargers. Titans Countdown is a special start time of 2 Central. Then kickoff of Titans and Chargers happens at 3:25.
Brought to you by Fakes and Hooker, Bates Ford, Steve Mall Plumbing, The Jewelers, and the City of Lebanon Gas and Tennessee 811. Call before you dig.
This is Wilson County's home for real country music and the Tennessee Titans. Real Country 98.9.
And we continue here on this Tuesday morning. Our program presented by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. Justin Beasley's on the line with me this morning. And Justin, I was thinking about a lot of things during the break here. And you mentioned the Hibbett family, I believe. And I never knew them all that well. I think there was 3 sons, perhaps. One of them, I believe, played football at UT, and one was prominent with the district attorney's office here. And I forget even some of their names, but the Hibbett family had played a prominent role, especially in the early history of Mount Juliet. And I know you mentioned that, but I think it's worth maybe calling attention to again.
Yes, sir. And his other son works at the Wilson County Sheriff's Office. Their name escapes me right now, just gotten to know so many people over the last year, getting to know the city of Mount Juliet. But we got to know them a little bit when we were interviewing them for our 50th anniversary, which we uploaded snippets of different stories online. And then actually last night on Facebook, we live streamed at 8 o'clock. If you'll go back and watch it for anybody that's listening that cares, you can go back and watch the hour-long broadcast. But we interviewed a lot of people to tell the story of the history of Mount Juliet and just what they remember. And they would tell about N.C. Hibbett and how he was just a man of character, a man of faith. He used to work at a school where he taught, I think, for 34 years, teaching kids and giving back to the community and coaching and whatnot. But when you look at the history, it starts with the N.C. Hibbett family and what all they've been able to do. They've got a lot of history from back in the day that they were able to offer us up and, maybe even be able to do it for the 51st anniversary too. They have tons of artifacts from the,
Yeah. Let me ask you something here. Now, a lot of people have moved into Mount Jewett in the last 50 years here. And, of course, there's been families who've been established who have grandchildren there by now who weren't there in the beginning. But as we think of the influx, and especially in the last 10 years, as Mount Juliet's population has actually exceeded that of Lebanon in the last census, and I'm thinking, does a celebration like this, has this been a great coming together and people maybe beginning to know each other better, and has it made Mount Juliet a more solid community to have 50 years to celebrate like this?
Oh, I think no doubt. I mean, you look around town, we have banners up that say 1972 to 2022 celebrating 50 years. And at the very least, from the City Hall standpoint, you're installing pride into people that have lived here, that already have it, and the people that have moved here. And you think about it, we just talked about the mayors, the past and present mayors. When's an opportunity where you're going to get all of those former servicemen and women together in one room on one float in a happy setting? I mean, that's what that is. And you look at the record-setting crowd that we had for the Mount Juliet 50th anniversary, the record-setting crowd we had for the Christmas tree lighting and the Christmas parade, everything that we could have imagined and more of coming together, and really has gotten to understand a lot of people the history of Mount Juliet and just kind of remembering where we came from. We say it all the time about really everyone in Wilson County. You step outside of the county, you don't always get the hallmark kind of events that you have here. So I keep telling everybody, and I'll tell it on your broadcast, I just hope people are thankful for what they have here, because I think we're going to look back on these years with fond memories when we're older and when we're reminiscing. But we just see it, continue to get better at the same time as well.
Okay, let's sort of set the celebration aside here for a little bit, maybe the rest of the time here, because I'm wondering what might be going on legislative-wise. Did you have a Board of Commissioners meeting last night?
Yes, sir, and I'll recap the one before that we haven't been able to recap. We've sworn in Bill Trevette and Commissioner Jennifer Mullally, who were unopposed and won their races for their respective districts to become commissioners. So our 5 that were set are still set. I want to make that clear. Vice Mayor Ray Justice, previously in that seat, offered up that seat. It was his 2 years was up, and it comes back up to vote. He actually recommended Commissioner Bill Trevette for that spot. Bill Trevette won that vote 4-1 as it's voted on by the Board of Commissioners. And he now sits as the new vice mayor and district commissioner as well. So now Ray Justice goes back to being commissioner of District 1. And it's funny I mention that because you think about vice mayor, it's still one vote. It's still, as much power as all the other Board of Commissioners. But when the mayor isn't present, that is the opportunity where the vice mayor steps in and fills the void. Well, the mayor has missed the Christmas parade due to sickness again, and he was unable to celebrate our 50 years last night because he was under the weather at the Board of Commissioners meeting. So you look at Bill Trevette and how he's been thrown into the fire as the vice mayor. He's done a fantastic job, but, Commissioner Ray Justice got there last night and said, I was vice mayor for 2 years and mayor never got sick. Bill Trevette is filling in the whole week and doing some massive events that could often never be duplicated, and doing a fantastic job. So again, we hope James Manis gets better. He's everything that's great about Mount Juliet as a person and as a council member. But you can only laugh at what Bill Trevette has had to do since taking over that seat.
Yeah, it's he's been thrown in the lion's den or in the fire, however you want to describe it. But I'm sure he's risen to the occasion.
Yes, sir. I told him it was part of his initiation process.
Yeah. What any city legislation that's worth our discussion this morning?
Yes, sir. Last night we passed resolution to purchase some land on Simmons Road. I believe that will be 10 acres. So that is going to give us a little bit more room as far as our public works facilities are concerned. Right now, we're building a huge garage over there on the existing property where our salt bays are. For any inclement weather, we've got a bunch of salt, a bunch of public works equipment over there already. Well, that 10 acres or so is going to give us more room to operate, maybe even house public works over there in the future. But, I mentioned it in the past, we're purchasing land for our police department, purchasing land for our public works department. We're looking at land for, redistributing how we have our city hall on our land as far as those plans are being drawn up. So a lot of moving parts within City Hall and Mount Juliet. We're busting at the seams, quite frankly, with our city, with how many people we're hiring and how many people we need to operate as a city. So a lot of moving parts, a lot of land needs to be purchased now as opposed to later when you can only think that it's going to be more expensive. So it's exciting things in the near future for the city of Mount Juliet, but a lot of moving parts as well.
Okay, as far as this month goes, I'm looking at the calendar. I guess this would have been the first meeting in December last night. What are you going to do in 2 weeks?
Yes, sir. This is our only meeting of the month. I believe the next meeting would be the 26th after Christmas, and that one will not happen. But I believe the Coleman Walker show will still happen that Tuesday, so we'll come up with something to talk right about.
Oh, you got it. Yes. Yes, that's one thing I give you good marks for. Whether there's a lot of real news to talk about or not, Justin, you always have something to discuss, and that makes my job easier. Quite frankly, I appreciate you.
That's what I'm here for. And I'll also mention last night we passed something that allows our fire department to add 6 part-time employees as far as paramedics and firefighters are concerned. And talking last night with Deputy Fire Chief Joey Edwards, that's basically a chance to, recruit, be able to, have, as he said, it's like a practice squad in the NFL. You need some guys to back up, to help out when, we're overworking other people or when we're low staffed or have sickness. So we passed an ordinance last night to be able to hire 6 paramedics, firefighters, and we also debuted our new fleet of ambulances that we have within the city of Mount Juliet. As you know, we're starting a separate EMS division within the city of Mount Juliet, which is almost historic for a city of our size, but it was a worthy investment that our Board of Commissioners thought we needed. And we actually got a couple of ambulances in, and we actually had them wrapped, and we debuted them at our parade last Saturday. So if you want to check that out, the pictures are on the fire department's, Mount Juliet Fire Department's Facebook and Instagram and Twitter pages. So check those out. They look beautiful, and they'll get in service as soon as they can. As much power and manpower it takes to start an EMS division. It doesn't happen overnight, but I can tell you that our fire department's working hard for that.
Well, as we approach the holidays here, any police, fire, people who are public servants in that way don't have many days off. It's almost business as usual. But what about the rest of the city? You got some time off, I guess. What about you personally? You got a little time off?
Yeah, I'm going to take off some time next week. I won't say I'm any busier than anybody else at City Hall because we are working hard for our BOC that, was able to give us, some cost of living raises, and it has been great to us. But I will take off some time next week. We've had a lot of late nights, late meetings, and a lot of events here in the city of Mount Juliet. And I feel like it's important to recharge. And my honest opinion is you're better at work the more that you can rest and recharge away from work. So I'm going to try to keep that work-life balance in check and spend some time with my wife and son, as I think most people will at City Hall during this time of year. It's a great time to spend with family and to travel and try not to be too stressed. I know that Christmas can have a lot of expectations with parties and present swaps and seeing family, but it's really a time to slow down and and be thankful for everything we have. So I'm going to try to do that, Coleman.
All right. I don't know whether we have mentioned Kenny Martin this morning or not, or Jamie Luffman, or I'm trying to think of who else. But so the movers and shakers, hope they're all doing okay.
Yes, sir, they are, and I'll tell them that you said Merry Christmas and everything. They're doing fantastic. It's business as usual, but they are doing a fine and fantastic job as always. And really, if you're not mentioning them, that must mean that they're doing their job. But it's my job to promote them, and I'm telling you what, they bring the energy every day, and they inspire us to be better, and that's exactly what they're doing.
All right. Well, Justin, thanks for being with us this morning. Our time's about up here, but certainly appreciate your report and being with us, and we'll look forward to next time. As you said, we'll find something to talk about. So have a good until next time.
Yes, sir. Merry Christmas.
All right. Justin Beasley, Public Information Officer, City of Mount Juliet, and that is part one of Coleman and Company, our program presented by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. Stay with us for more. You're on FM 98.9.
And at 7:29, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Absolute Kubota, high performance, high horsepower, 0% financing is still a thing. Now is the best time to save on new Kubota L-Series tractors, rated number one for durability and owner experience in the U.S. Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Traffic's on the increase right now. 24 through the Hickory Hollow area, leaving Rutherford County. Pretty much typical at the moment. Some flashing lights in the Franklin area. 65 northbound. It's going to be around mile marker 66, just north of the Highway 96 there on some flashing lights before you get into Cool Springs on 65 through that section of Williamson County. Lots of radar out here this morning. Give yourself plenty of extra time. Hey, Nash Painting services all of Middle Tennessee. Check them out online at nashpainting.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
What is your passion? How can you use that passion to enrich your community? Hi, this is Melanie Minter, President and CEO of the Lebanon-Wilson County Chamber of Commerce. Your chamber is the resource for making connections to fulfill your passion. Whether education, nonprofit, agriculture, entertainment, or government relations, Wilson County offers a place for you to be involved. Your chamber connects businesses, individuals, and your passion to the community. We have an enthusiasm for excellence. Join us and catch the spirit. Call or visit our office at 149 Public Square in Lebanon.
At Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital, world-class care is a heartbeat away. In fact, we offer the same world-class attention Middle Tennessee has come to rely on from a Vanderbilt Health Hospital. Supported by over 200 specialties, an expanded emergency department staffed with Vanderbilt Health physicians 24/7, and greater investments in life-saving technologies and care. It's just one more way we're making healthcare personal.
Hi, I'm Mayor Rick Bell.
And I'm Sarah Haston, your Economic Development Director for the City of Lebanon.
And we're asking each of you to shop Lebanon this Christmas season.
Are you ready for the hustle and bustle, Mayor?
Absolutely. 'Tis the season, and I'm ready to get everyone checked off my list by shopping Lebanon and shopping small.
Well, it's definitely important to support our Lebanon business community.
Indeed. Our Lebanon businesses are the backbone of our community, and they support us all year.
That's right. Let's show some local love at Christmas. We are asking everyone to commit to give back by shopping your local retailers here in Lebanon.
Have a Merry Christmas from all of us at the City of Lebanon.
Heavy cloud cover is back for our Tuesday, but temperatures should stay mild with a high of 59 today. More rain is heading our way, though, starting late tonight and becoming widespread Wednesday. Wednesday brings a high of 58, falling to 43 at night. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm number one Ned.
Coleman and Company, welcome to part two here on a Tuesday morning. We want to welcome back Sean Dozier from Hearthside Senior Living. Sean, good morning to you.
Morning, Coleman. I missed you last week.
Well, we missed you, but Betty Kelly was here and did a fine job. She, no doubt, is a fine activities director, and we had a nice conversation last week. But
I appreciate her filling in for me. She always does a good job.
Miss you when you're not here.
Well, thank you.
You're just one of our regulars here every Tuesday, and I look forward to it.
Well, I enjoy being here. It's
just like I do a lot of the other people. You get, on a weekly basis like that, we get to know each other, and we talk a little bit before the on-the-air light comes on, what we've been doing or what's going on or what's on our minds.
Well, that's the best part of coming out here is the conversation before we go on air, But I enjoyed, I was in Knoxville last week. I had to get my hours, as an administrator, you have to get your hours, so many hours every year, so I had to do that, and Betty filled in for me, and I appreciate that very much.
Well, we can remind everybody, if you don't already know, Hearthside Senior Living is a retirement and assisted living community at 215 Castlights Avenue North here in Lebanon. Been around since 1994. Sean is the executive director, and we like to say it's Hearthside when it's time for a helping hand.
You know, we have our assisted living on, when you drive on in the campus, we have our assisted living on the right side, and the assisted living's been there since 1994 and has served a lot of people over the years. A lot of folks have used our services, and it continues to serve a lot of folks. And we, I tell you what, we do give a helping hand for those folks that need it. You know, we're not a nursing home, of course. We're an assisted living. We help people with their activities of daily living, and so they need help with their meals and medication, and we give socialization. And I tell people all the time, when you move into an assisted living, you see a cadence change in their face and their body language, because they get that socialization, they get the activities, they get 3 meals a day, they get their medication timely. And so it really does make a difference when you've been isolated for so long and you haven't been eating correctly, haven't been taking your medication correctly, and you move into a community like that. It really does make a difference, and it extends your life in so many areas. And I tell you what, it provides a service for that season of your life that is really needed, and families really appreciate what we have to offer.
Well, no doubt people make a lot of friendships too. Now, some people are more outgoing than others, but I have an idea that almost anybody that comes to Hearthside new, it's not long before they kind of get integrated, and whether they're really outgoing or not, they probably enjoy the company.
Yeah, that's really a good point. You know, we don't talk about that enough. You know, we assign seats in our dining room and kind of put people together that fit personalities, and it's neat to watch how that friendship forms over time. And folks that really haven't had long conversations in years or many months, or maybe they've been in the hospital, they've been in rehab, and they get to know people, they get to know their families, and their families get to know them. And so I tell you what, for that, again, I go back to that season of their life, they form some really great friendships. And you can just, when they're eating 3 times a day, so they're seeing the same people 3 times a day. So you get to know somebody when you're eating with somebody 3 times a day, and that makes a difference. And they look forward to it. You know, they look forward to seeing them, and they catch up with each other. They talk about what they saw on television or catch up on football. And when you put together those people in those tables, it really does make a difference.
Well, another thing probably too, I know even sometimes I don't know whether I've taken my food supplement or not. You got somebody to make sure they take their medication.
That's right.
They take it timely, and you don't miss it, and you don't take it twice.
Cindy, Danielle, and Sarah, there are 3 nurses, and they're there from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So our med passes are during those times, and if they have to take something later, it's secure. The medication's secure. They take it later if they're able to, but they get their medication timely, and that's a big deal because, if you're like me, you don't take your vitamins, you don't take your medicine, you forget about it. But at Hearthside, that nurse is going to be there with that cup and say, here you go, make sure you take your medication. And they watch them take it to make sure they take it. And again, that socialization, that medication timeliness, the quality of food that we have, it just changes their life in so many ways.
And one other good thing, you pretty much got a bottom line when it comes to the cost, and you don't nickel and dime people to death.
Yeah, we don't. When people come in, we say this is the price, and we have 3 levels, and you can choose which level you want, and that's the price it's going to be. And we don't charge extra for medication management or delivering food to your room or special activities. It's all in one price, and the families have really appreciated that deal.
Well, are you totally full up right now?
We're totally full right now. We'll have some transitions, some folks moving to skilled nursing here in the next couple of weeks, so we'll have some openings. But if you're thinking about assisted living in the next few months or the first of the year, Hearthside would be a great place to tour and see what we have to offer.
Well, we hope people keep that in mind, and I guess it's time for a Hearthside hello.
It's a personal Hearthside hello. My 2 girls are graduating from the University of Tennessee Friday, and I wanted to congratulate Allie Dozier and Anna Dozier. Allie started a year before Anna, but they both ended up graduating at the same time. So
my 2 youngest sons did the same thing at Tennessee Tech.
Isn't that great?
Yes, it is. One graduation and
one graduation, and then we get a raise. After they leave, after they graduate. So anyway, I'm excited about that, and congratulations to both of them. I'm very proud of them.
Well, okay. I'm sure I haven't met them, but I'm sure they're wonderful girls.
They're awesome people. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Coleman. Have a great week.
All right.
And I'll see you next week.
Next Tuesday, we'll do it again. Sean Dozier, Executive Director, Hearthside Senior Living, 215 Castle Heights Avenue North, right here in Lebanon. We're 21 before the hour. And Brian Hutto, Director of Lebanon Special School District, Director of Schools for LSSD, is here this morning. Good morning to you.
Morning, Coleman. How are you today?
I'm doing well, and it's good to see you again.
It's good to see you. It's good to see you. It's hard to believe we're almost halfway through a school year here.
Yeah. When you have this week and next week.
Just this week, sir.
Just this
We'll
week.
finish out this week. Students have a 2-hour day on Friday, so lots of festivities happening this week.
It's that time already, almost.
Tis the season, yes, sir.
Well, no doubt they and the teachers and even people in the office like you are looking forward to, 2-week break maybe? Something
2-week
like
break.
that?
2-week break. We'll kick that off, like I said, at the end of the week, and then it's a time to be with families and rest and recuperate and be well. So we're excited for that.
Well, speaking of how have things been? We've had the flu, we've had COVID, we've had this other thing with the 3 letters. How's that been affecting you?
It has impacted us. Our student attendance is actually really good. We're hovering around 7%. We had an uptick around Thanksgiving with the flu. Flu really kind of made its mark. We've had a little bit of COVID, a lot of strep, stomach bugs, things that aren't really atypical. They're coming through. But we've learned we're really resilient. We've been creative, so we keep right on plugging along. Folks are doing a great job.
Did you have a school board meeting last night?
We did have a board meeting last night. And Coleman, our December board meeting, we really get to recognize individuals. We had a little bit of business, but started the evening off with our Spotlight on Students, and that's where we bring a group of kids in. And Sam Houston, the Tiger Choir, have to give them a shout out. They came and did some carols for us. There was probably 20 or 30. Their families came, and they just did a fantastic job. So to Sam Houston, kudos. I think they have a program tonight. So they got to practice with us, did a great job. We followed that up with our Friends of Education. So Friends of Education, each school gets to recognize a business and a personal. And so it's a time to spotlight some organizations. And, our mission is committed to a community of excellence. And it really showcases the support that Lebanon has for our schools. So that part, excellent. We followed that up with a couple of business items. We added some individuals to our Student Discipline Hearing Authority, and that committee essentially, if students, if they have behaviors where it's just a little bit above the school, there's a group of individuals that will sit, talk through, and make a plan. And so we wanted to add a couple more members to it. And then the families, our students, I know will like this. We had to make an adjustment to our school calendar for next year. We noted that we had a couple extra days, so we added a day to Christmas break next year on either end. So those kiddos will get an extra day on the beginning and the end, and that perfectly aligns with Wilson County. So we had to make that correction.
Well, you've got 3 board members. They're usually all 3 there. Do you have to have 2 for a quorum, or all 3 have
Yes,
to be?
sir. Two for a quorum. All 3 are there, and they are fantastic. Really want to brag on, that Friend of Education program. It's there. It's special that they're able to emphasize and make that a priority for us to celebrate, those community partnerships. And you've said it before, Lebanon Special is a gem, and it really showcased last night. So we were happy to do that.
Yeah. Let me mention something. I don't think we brought this up last time, and it was talked about. There's been talk of expanding the board from 3 members to 5, and I think it's just talk. I don't know of any proposal that's been presented and voted on or anything. But is that still being talked about, or has it been kind of put aside, or where is that right now?
So we left that in the November board meeting. That discussion came up. The board had a really healthy discussion about where we are, what we could look at. And so they have essentially tabled that to a future meeting. But that's one of those, of course, we have a great board, and we're always looking to grow. So I imagine those discussions will continue. And of course, any changes to that would involve a process. Our private act stipulates to 3 board members, and so we would have to look at zoning and several other factors, but that healthy dialogue is great to have, and I'm appreciative that we have it.
All right, one other thing before we go to a break here in a couple of minutes. There's from time to time been some shortages. I know a few times there's been some shortage of teachers. You've had shortage of, I guess, cafeteria workers and custodians, bus drivers, the whole 9 yards. Where are we right now?
Yes, sir. We are in good shape. I think we have 1 teacher vacancy. We had a teacher that actually took an opportunity. They're going to do a central office position with Metro. And so we've got 1 vacancy right now. I will do a plug for our substitute teachers. With sickness and teachers, they all mostly have families. So if you are interested in being a substitute teacher, we're very creative with how we can utilize that. There's different pay based off your education, but we all have a great system, and we're happy to have those folks. So
if you're a substitute teacher, are you pretty much expected to be there from 8 to 3?
8 to 3 primarily. We have some subs that they're typically half day, and we have a lot of half day. They may have a doctor's appointment that's in the morning or the afternoon. So we can be, like I said, creative with how we schedule you, and you can work as many. I think they want you to shoot for about 5 days a month is typical, but we would be happy to have any extra help.
But as far as need goes right now, substitute teacher probably at the top of the list?
Probably at the top of the list right now, just with all of the illnesses that you mentioned rolling through. Our schools they're pulling ed assistants to cover classes, and we're good at that. But having good able-bodied substitutes, and we have a great group. I want to brag on them. Those that are consistent do a fantastic job.
Okay, we're going to take a break right here. More with Mr. Brian Hutto coming up here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And at 7:46, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford and that low price tire guarantee on all tires every day. Up to 30 days after the sale, there'll be any competitor's pricing on the tires they sell. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Traffic's on the increase quite a bit, actually, in down I-40 coming from Wilson County out of through Mount Juliet. From Lebanon, traffic still not bad, 65 now. It's a little bit heavy coming off that ramp from Vietnam Vets on to 65 South. 24 is doing what it normally does out of Rutherford County this time of the morning. 24 westbound as you continue up towards Bell Road, Hickory Hollow Parkway. Princess Hot Chicken, they're catering during the holiday season. Check them out today at princesshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome to Hearthside Senior Living, Lebanon's unique senior living community designed for seniors to age in place, all within a safe, comfortable, and Christian environment. Beautiful retirement homes designed for an independent lifestyle with maintenance-free living. Hearthside Senior Living also continues the excellent tradition of assisted living for those seniors who need additional services. Hearthside Senior Living, an independent retirement community and assisted living community, all on one campus in the heart of Lebanon. Call 615-443-1994 for a tour.
So I switched my insurance to State Farm, and get this. I talked to an actual State Farm agent who lives in my actual town. And get this. My actual agent in my actual town gave me actual help with the coverage I needed. And get this. My actual agent in my actual town who gave me actual help actually knows my name. And get this. They actually say it's called service.
Insurance with a local agent? It's called service. Call me, State Farm agent Jeff Gannon in Lebanon or Mount Juliet today.
Middle Tennessee's largest, longest running, and most affordable holiday tradition, the Dancing Lights of Christmas, is now open with new lights and new music so you can create some new Christmas memories. For 2.5 miles, your family will be captivated as you watch over 2 million lights dance perfectly in sync to rockin' Christmas tunes, all from inside the comfort of your own vehicle. Stop by Santa's Village for food and fun, pictures with Santa, even a helicopter ride above the lights. 5 p.m. nightly at the Wilson County Fairgrounds. More info at thedancinglightsofchristmas.com.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. Our final segment here for Tuesday morning. Brian Hutto is my guest. He's Director of Schools with Lebanon Special School District. We've talked about so far that this is the last week of school before the holiday break here. And going back to school, I guess it'll be 2023 and in January.
2023 in January. January the 4th. Staff comes back the day before for professional development. And that date may be, I don't have my calendar right in front of me, but we'll advertise that so that everybody knows when to come back.
Right. Anything else from the let's say the business part or the board, the three board members last night that they discussed or done?
Sure. There's a couple. This one's a little bit sad, but we wanted to recognize Miss Payton. She was a fixture within our community. She came to Lebanon Special in 1982. She started in Murray County, but 39 years of teaching. She was Teacher of the Year for Lebanon Special, Teacher of the Year for Wilson County. Just a fantastic lady. And on a personal note, when I was principal at Coles Ferry, we had groups that would stay after school. We called it Camp Cougar, and we were working to help them prepare for TCAP at the time. And we wanted to do something special. And Miss Payton, she jumped in there. And so for several years, we were able to take a big group to Cracker Barrel. She set all of it up. They had their own dining room, their own menus, and that's just a small little sample of Miss Payton. She was a great lady.
Well, you can't think of her much without thinking of the evergreen
That's
clock
correct.
that she started. And I don't know how many participated in that over the years, but that was over a pretty long period of time that she did that.
She was. I mean, and I don't know all the details to that. There are people that could speak to that better, but it just a testament to her willingness to give and serve. And so she will be missed, but what an impact she had.
Well, there was. I went to the visitation Sunday afternoon. I think the funeral burial followed that, but she had the cap on.
Yes, sir.
And that was, I guess, one of her trademarks.
Yes, sir. That was a trademark. And on a different note, we did get to celebrate last night, and so we have Dr. Penny Thompson. She's our instructional supervisor, coordinator. She takes care of pre-K, wears lots of hats, as we all do. But she was named for the state of Tennessee the Supervisor of the Year. So that, for the entire state, really competitive process. They have to interview, they have to submit paperwork, and we are so thrilled for her to get that honor.
I think that is wonderful. I had a press release, I guess, where she was nominated along with some other people a few months back. But the final decision has been made, and it is Dr. Penny Thompson.
That is correct. Final decision. They had an event at the Loveless Cafe last week, and so it was fun to be a part of. She was able to bring her family, and of course, she had no knowledge that this was going to happen. And so we're sitting there just going to recognize all of them, and then they say her name, and you know that look when people have that shock and joy, and it was really special. And so, yeah.
Well, I've got to know her a little bit over the years, and she's been out here from time to time on the program, especially when it's time for the new preschoolers and kindergartners to get registered and to have that day that they have, I believe, every spring. And she's been out to talk about that many times, and she is really devoted. Well, really, her life as an educator, and I guess started probably in the classroom and has made her way up to where she is now.
Yes, sir. She is a worker and consistent, thorough, a heart for kids, all those attributes that you really want. But she's an asset for us as well.
And some of the good results, the good testing scores and so on that you have, the district has achieved would at least partly be because of her efforts, I think.
For certain. And she would say that. It's a team effort, and she's a part of that. So we're happy for her. And we had one other, really excited about this. We previously have not visually recorded our board meetings. And so we've been in some dialogue about how to make that happen, because at 5 o'clock when we have those meetings, not all families are available. And we want to make it, we want to reach out to our stakeholders. So we landed on a plan. We're going to contract with Mr. Partlow, well, his son, Grant Partlow, to come and record those, and then he'll upload, and we'll be able to upload them, and then our families will be able to see what happens during our board meetings and be able to stay informed.
Is there much cost to do this?
This aspect is the cheapest of what we looked at. I say cheap. It's the most cost effective for us before we jump feet first into it. Yes, least expensive. Also probably most convenient at the moment. We're new to this sort of part of it, so this will let him take care of the videoing, the recording, and then he'll load it onto a drive, and we'll go.
And it will be there available for anybody that I guess that wants to see it.
Correct. Yes, sir.
To it.
Yes, sir.
So that way you are being a little bit more open than requiring somebody to have to right now be sitting in the room to hear the proceedings.
And we post our minutes following as well, but it's one thing that sometimes it's just more convenient to be able to hit play and either watch or listen. And of course, maybe eventually down the road, we'll look at a live stream. But for the moment, our board feels good about this, and we feel like it's the next step we need to take.
Well, then there's that old saying too about you crawl before you walk, and
yes, sir.
And I don't. It honestly, it sounds good to me.
Yeah. It's a good thing.
Hope it works.
It is a good thing. It's a good thing.
You got more from last night's meeting. Or is that pretty much taken care of?
I've got one other item I just want to make note of. We are in a strategic planning cycle, and essentially that's our 5-year plan. Our 5-year plan will close out for 2023. So Ms. Kegley and Ms. Sampson, my instructional coordinator, assistant director, we have started that process to prepare what our 5-year goals will be. And we started that with school-based meetings, and those have been really, really beneficial to sit down with each school-based leadership team and talk about, what's important to us as a district. Where do we want to go? We're going to do stakeholder involvement with that. We've spoken with Kiwanis, with Chamber, with Rotary, and so we'll continue that process. The goal would be to draft a plan early spring and present that to the board. And of course, this is the board's overarching plan, but we're doing the legwork for it, and so that's a fun process. I'm enjoying being able to do that.
How is enrollment? Do you have more students this year than ever?
We do.
More than last year anyway.
We do. We had a huge jump last year coming out of COVID, several hundred. This year we're up about 100 and 110 students. We'll just pick a number. We're sitting at 4,278 students as close of business yesterday. So,
give that number again.
4,278.
All right. 4278. Well, I don't know about you, but when I go on Castle Heights Avenue North and I see all the housing that is about completed on one side, and I look over there in that great big field, and I don't know what all is going there, but it looks like it's going to be housing. Some other places you go near some of these schools, and you see all the building and all that's going on. You can't help but think we got more people coming.
We have more people, Coleman. You hit the nail on the head. That's a big part of our strategic plan is being prepared for growth. And as a district, we've been able to do that historically. Historically, we've not seen this number of individuals moving in, and we're excited. We've got a great community, and so we want to make sure we have space. And so our board's very proactive with
Well, I don't think very many of these are senior communities. None of them may be. So you can figure that for every household there's X number of children that are going to be in school. I guess that's sort of the way you look at something like this as you plan for the future.
Correct.
And we've got, really, I think we've got growth running out the years.
I agree with that. We have a good relationship with our city planners, and they keep us updated on what we're coming through, and we're making adjustments to school zones. But you're right. You pick a street in the city of Lebanon, and there's a development.
Over on Park Avenue, I guess it's property that the doctor used to have. Anyway, all that's being developed there. I don't know who owns it now or what, but I mean, we've got that all over, and especially in the inside area of Lebanon.
Correct, and inside the city limits for sure. Carver Lane has got several developments happening. We've got those on South Hartman. Of course, the old golf course area continues to grow. 231, we don't go all the way out to the city boundary, but we business is good, Coleman. We've got lots of kiddos, and we're happy for that. But we want to make sure that we have the capacity to support them and our teachers, and so
Well, looking ahead here, I don't know how many people are getting into education, and there are challenges, obviously, but if you look 5-10 years ahead, are we going to have enough teachers?
That's another strategic plan topic there, Coleman. I think you must have gotten into my notes. So recruitment and retention of our teachers. We have a fantastic group, but we're probably, if we put a star by items, growth, recruiting and retaining teachers, those would be top two. And so will we have enough teachers in 4 or 5 years? We're going to have to challenge ourselves to be creative. We're going to have to really work on our PR. Teaching is a fantastic profession. As a previous teacher, obviously my wife's a teacher, and I work with them. So it's very rewarding, and we want to make sure that students coming out of high school, but that they understand the impact they can have. But that also, as a district that delves into our Grow Your Own, we have a great community with really good resources. So there's no sense in us not tapping into the potential we have. So we're in the process of making plans to work with Lebanon High School, Wilson County, because we're sharing people. We're not competitive. So, yep.
Money too plays a role here. A lot of teachers could make more money doing something else, I guess. Probably could, especially if you have a successful business, and that happens from time to time. But maybe you're going to have to pay more.
Correct. And teachers will tell you during these strategic meetings, one of the things we talk about are what do teachers need? And it's funny, money's not one of the categories that typically comes up. It's important. We don't pay them enough, and I'll say that, and I tell them that. We should pay them like professional athletes. Well, we're going to get to a point where we do, and the state is going to help us with that for next year. We have a new funding formula that should allocate more, and we'll be able to take care of our teachers. And we do a good job with that. We're top. We were 12th in the state previously. I don't have those numbers for this year, but we do our best to take very good care of them.
Brian Hutto, our time is up. Thanks for being with us. Appreciate your visit. We'll see you next month.
Thank you, Coleman. I appreciate you as well. Have a Merry Christmas.
Right. That's going to do it for Tuesday. Join us tomorrow. And until then, I wish you a terrific day.